Hello, this video is going to cover Okta integration with PrairieLearn. So we will start by getting the Okta credentials from the Iowa State University, and then we will configure PrairieLearn, and then finally we will set up PrairieLearn to run with our custom server code. So first, to get the Okta credentials, we need to go to this website and then fill in a bunch of information for the ITS. So if I go to this website, we will say, so first question is, do we have a software review form? We're going to say no because we already have an application and we're just tuning it. And then in the future, you will likely be doing Microsoft. We will have a OAuth app type, no custom tile icon. It'll be a web application, OIDC application type. The name will just be PrairieLearn. And then all users, so that we don't have to worry about the school blocking students from accessing the website, because we will do our own authentication. Then we have the grant type. All we need is the authorization code. And then the sign-in URLs and sign-out URLs are just going to be the URL that you gave to when you created the VM. So for us, that was cpre288.pl-fall2023.state view. And it'll be /pl/OID callback for the sign-in, and then it'll be logout for logout redirect URL, just like that. And then these last two you can leave blank. This will have to be submitted by Professor Jones. The school does not allow students to do this, so Professor Jones will have to fill out this information, but it should be just like that. Just hit order now over here in the corner, and then you're done. So back to this. So yeah, that was that. Next slide. So when they get back to him, he will receive something like this with the application title, the username, and the password. The username is going to be your client ID for the configuration file, and the password is going to be the client secret for the configuration file. So now, when we go to configure PrairieLearn, there's one main file, config.json. Most of this you can ignore. LTI and LTI redirect URL are used for Canvas integration, which might be more useful in the future. Right now, PrairieLearn doesn't have it very well fleshed out. Trust proxy is required for Google Chrome users to be able to log in. It's just something new that they added in 2023 to their cookie policy that makes it so that you need that. Server canonical host, this is going to be just the VM URL again. Google client ID, secret, redirect URL, and has OAuth can be ignored if you are not setting up Google authentication, because you will most likely just be using Okta or whatever Microsoft uses in the future. So for that, you need a has OID to true, and then the OID issuer, auth URL, token URL, and user info URL are all static based on the authentication. So for Okta, it's this iastate.okta.com and then OAuth to default. You'll have the v1 authorized, v1 token, and v1 user info for those URLs, but other than that, that's those. This will probably change when Iowa State moves to Microsoft. The client ID from before and the client secret from before, which was the username and password that he got. And then lastly, the redirect URL, which is just the same redirect URL we put in the request for the sign-in app. So it's just /pl/OID callback endpoint. So once we have the code, the configuration file completed, we can then move on to actually running the code. So first, if you don't have PrairieLearn cloned, we ran this on our virtual machine that we got from Iowa State. Um, we use a custom uh, GitHub repo because we needed to add Okta, and standard PrairieLearn doesn't have that. So this is why the URL might be different than the official URL. But you clone it with git clone, and then you just move into that. This step here, this Docker compose, this is just a script to make it a lot easier to start up the server when you want to. And then after you have that set up, you can you do need to do this step. This will build the local source and make it so that the code actually runs. It doesn't just instantly crash. So I will go to this is our VM. So we're logged in as root on our server. We are in the home TL user. We have a PrairieLearn. This is where we cloned the Git repo, and we're just going to copy that command and run it. And then inside here, we do make deps start. So make deps is going to start building PrairieLearn. This might take a little bit. So after a while, it started. This is it running pip, and then it built. So this is it building using Turbo. And once it's done, it will start up PrairieLearn, that second command, and you should get this right here. If you do not get this, you have other errors. You might have to go through the PrairieLearn documentation to see how, like, what the error might be. But that is that. So now that means that the local source is built. So when we go to do um, to run the Docker script, it should just start up just fine. It might do other stuff the first time, but that'll be that. And then, so that's that. So after that, so in conclusion, setting up PrairieLearn on the server, we do have our full PDF write-up here available on the Git repository that Jonas set up, ECE PrairieLearn documentation repository. And here we go through all the different steps, and we even go into acquiring a virtual machine, setting up the firewall, SSH, and reverse proxy with Nginx, like how the last year's group did it, but I think we went to a bit more detail on our terms of write-ups. And we also added a few extra security features in the form of multi-factor authentication. But yeah, thank you for watching.